Let's all hoops, let's all hoops, let's all hoops. What's the scoop? What's the scoop? What's the scoop? Let's all hoops, let's. Got the sauce, let's all hoops, let's all hoops, let's all hoops. What's the scoop? What's the scoop? What's the scoop? Let's all hoops, let's all.
Yo, what's going on, Hoops Tribe? I'm gonna let y'all trickle in. I know it's been a minute, so just give y'all time to recognize that I'm back. I'm back. I've been on vacation. If you're here, please drop that you're here in the chat and let me know if my audio is okay, if you can hear me. While y'all doing that, I'm gonna also check and just make sure the stream is up. Hope y'all having a great Sunday. This is my first Sunday back home. Okay, I see that we're up on Facebook. I see that we're up on YouTube. So once you're in, definitely tap into the chat so I can know that you're here, so I can know that you hear me. I'm gonna run this intro back.
Got the sauce, let's all hoops, let's all hoops, let's all hoops. What's the scoop? What's the scoop? What's the scoop? Let's all hoops, let's all.
Yes, y'all. Know y'all trickling in. Okay, we got some people in the chat. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get into it. We've had a lot going on this week, right? But I guess I'll catch y'all up before I get into the main topic. I have been to Las Vegas. I got to see my first Aces game in person, but I know Aces fans are like, you were in the big house, so you got to come back when you're at the house, Michelob Ultra. I went to the game against Chicago where the Aces actually went into overtime. Wasn't expecting that. I was honestly probably expecting a blowout. I also wasn't really expecting when I got the tickets for Asia Wilson to not be playing. But it was a great game. Honestly, I'm glad that I made it. I know that Aces fans are like, T-Mobile is not Michelob Ultra. T-Mobile is considered the big house. But hey, I had fun. I actually caught a t-shirt. I got linked up with a whole bunch of Hoop Tribe before the game. We went to Tom's Watch Bar. So shout out to, I know I'm going to forget some names, but Lori, Wendy, Nicole, Liz, and her wife. There was two Liz's. Just everybody that showed up and showed love. Pete, and it's so many Aces Hoops Tribe. Y'all know that I love y'all because we have this one common in a minute because life is busy, y'all. Life is busy. I just had a birthday on July 5th. As soon as cancer season starts to roll in, I start feeling like, hey, I need to take a vacation. So I'm glad that I was able to get out. And on top of going to Vegas, I also went to LA. So we flew out to Vegas and then we drove out to LA. It's about a 4-hour drive, but we stopped off in Joshua Tree. If you've never been to Joshua Tree, I just want to say the name is a facade. It's actually not even trees out there. It's this plant called a yucca, and it looks like a tree though, but the real centerpiece of Joshua Tree National Park are the boulders. So if you like natural sights, I love getting out to the park whenever I go anywhere. Joshua Tree is an amazing landscaping view. So we drove from Vegas, went out to LA, enjoyed a Sparks game. It was a very quick turnaround. I got to meet some cool people out in LA. And shout out to the DJ out in LA too. Jay, they showed out. I saw Kamala Harris was just in the building. And when I was there, so LA played Seattle. And what I noticed from the jump, because I'm actually a fan of Flage's music, the DJ for the Sparks was playing Flage's dad. And then right after she played Flage's dad's music, she played Flage, and I'm like, oh man, she knows ball. So I appreciate that love. And then Flage went off and had a tremendous game. So I was happy to be in the building. Tia Mowry was in the building with her new man. I mean, LA brings the sparks out. So if you haven't been to an Aces game, if you haven't been to a Sparks game, I highly suggest it. I started thinking about all of the WNBA games I've been to at this point, and I've been out to Dallas. Of course, I'm in Georgia, so I went to Atlanta. I've been to Seattle. Seattle's one of my favorite places. Now, Vegas, LA, New York. New York has a crazy vibe in there. It's one of the best arenas I've ever been to. I've been to the Washington Mystics Arena, which is another one of those intimate arenas. We often talk about Atlanta and Dallas having intimate arenas. The Mystics have an intimate arena. So if you haven't been to a Washington game, it's also a vibe. They also have a dope DJ out there. And I'm missing one. I'm missing one. So there's Dallas, LA, Seattle, Atlanta, Mystics. I'm missing one. I feel like I've been to 8. Oh, Chicago, of course, Chicago. And I'm going back to Chicago for All-Star Weekend. So if you're going to All-Star Weekend, I look forward to seeing you out there. I might post up some other activities that I'm going to do while in Chicago. So stay alert for that. Now, moving into some basketball for this week, can we talk about the Aces picking up Justine Passat? Like that rookie debut, that first game debut, damn near mid-season, 19 points in 10 minutes. What? Justine Passat. I was familiar with your game because I like Vanderbilt. You know, I'm an SEC girly if you've been following me for a while. Love Vanderbilt. I knew she was a bucket from the Aces. I mean, spank the Phoenix Mercury. I'm going to get more into that after I talk about this. But the Aces gave her a great opportunity. They were up by a lot. She came into the game, no pressure. I think that was one of the best situations a rookie can be in, right? Is to come into a game on a high stakes team with no pressure. Everybody's feeding in confidence. I don't know if you guys caught the post game press conference. Asia Wilson looked so proud. During the game, when she was hitting the threes, Jewel Lloyd looked so proud. The whole bench is going off, right? And I'm like, bro, she's going nuclear right now. It's like back to back to back. So if they can get this type of performance out of Justine Passat moving forward, I'm not even expecting 19 points in 10 minutes every game. But I mean, if she can get maybe 2 of those in big moments, the Aces are in a good place. And I know a lot of people had heavy criticism for Becky, Nikki Fargas on the move to sign Justine after releasing Kennedy Carter. Some people believe the Aces need more of a more height for their depth on the bench. I do believe that they could have used that, but after seeing what Justine Passat was able to do in this game against the Phoenix Mercury, the confidence that they have in her, I mean, we already knew she's 6'4". That size was going to be something. While I do think that she can hit, obviously, I don't know what her defense looks like in these type of matchups. So we know that the Aces are defensive minded, especially right now. If you caught the interview, Asia was saying that, or Asia and Chelsea were saying that they haven't even touched the ball much in the last few practices because they're emphasizing their defense. And it makes sense. This is a team, you know, everybody can score. Everybody on the team is a bucket. So now the more defensive chemistry they can muster up going into the second half of this season, the more in tune on the rotations they can be. This is a championship level team. We already know they brought back most of the roster from last season's championship. So I'm excited about seeing more Justine Passat. I also think that the move to release Kennedy Carter made sense from a business standpoint and from a chemistry wise standpoint. If you caught my shorter form video, I talked about how Kennedy's production declined once Jackie Young's uh stats started to rise. We know that Jackie started the season, the first 6 games, it was a struggle. But once Jackie got going, it's like Kennedy kind of faded towards the back. I mean, we can talk about what happened on social media. I think that it could have played a part in it. But when you're thinking about the Aces, you're also thinking about a team that plays both sides of the ball. There's been so many moments that we can highlight where Kennedy gave up a lot in those defensive matchups, which is part of the reason why she wasn't in the game in that to end those final moments. She wasn't in the game, and that's one of the gripes that she had in that social media post, and it's because of her defense. So I think it makes sense for their name. I'm out when I chop this video up for social media, I'll be sure to add in that video. But someone on social media made the post and said that the Phoenix Mercury could use Kennedy Carter. I think that that is a genius. Give them their GM hat, because I think that's a genius move. At this point, the Phoenix Mercury needs some type of spark. When I watched them against the Aces, the last time when the Aces spanked, it was hard to be excited for that game as an Aces fan, because that was bad. It was bad. And it was not like Phoenix was playing their best basketball. It's not like Phoenix even looked like they wanted to be there. I mean, from the opening tip, I want you, if you didn't notice this the first time around, go back and watch the first quarter of that game. Watch the opening moments. Look at the faces of DeWanna Bonner and Alyssa Thomas. From the jump, I don't know if I'm reading too much into it, but from the jump, they never looked into it. I don't know what type of emotion was on their faces, but they didn't seem connected. I didn't see a lot of communication between those two. And Alyssa Thomas was essentially a shell of herself. Now, we all have been witnessing how the media has done Alyssa Thomas since the suspension, since the Caitlin Clark situation. I can't imagine the mental toll that has taken on her. They've already talked about how she's received threats and racist remarks, homophobic remarks. That impacts her livelihood, that impacts her mental state. If you watch the offense for the Phoenix Mercury, they were one and done. There was no flow to their offense. Alyssa Thomas had 1 assist. She currently leads the league in assists. She leads the league in assists. So for her to have 1 assist, very low output in terms of scoring from her, it was just, she wasn't there. I didn't see it. And I think that at this point, maybe Phoenix should just lean into their image. Right now, they're not a favorable team because of what happened between them and America's team, right? So just lean into it. Be like the Detroit Pistons back in the day. Lean into it, get another one. Pick up Kennedy Carter. She'll speed up your offense and take some of that offensive pressure off of Alyssa Thomas, which I think happened. I think that that's what their offense needed in the first place. That's why I feel like they were successful in moments last season with Satu Sably, because she takes off of some of that offensive pressure from Alyssa Thomas and having to make plays. So if you bring another playmaker like Kennedy Carter into there, another player that has that I don't care attitude, who just is leaning into her image. And here's the thing, we could say whatever we want to say about Kennedy Carter and how we may speculate on how she is in the locker room, because nobody's actually saying anything, right? Like, nobody is actually giving us concrete evidence to go off of to confirm that Kennedy Carter is a locker room cancer. We got whatever happened in Atlanta years ago, and then she just hasn't been able to stick on teams, but nobody is actually saying anything. So we know how sometimes a reputation can just follow you and people don't give you the benefit of the doubt off the rip. I'm guilty of that. I do that. I'm human. And sometimes when your reputation is what it is, you don't get that luxury. That's why first impressions mean everything. So at this point, I just think the WNBA don't have the cash flow. They don't have the teams that can sacrifice just having a player on their roster who might not be everyone's favorite person. And I think it's okay to not be everyone's favorite person. If the WNBA had the money like the NBA, and they just had teams in the league, if the WNBA could have teams like the freaking Wizards who can lose however many games, and Jordan Poole just does whatever. I mean, LaMelo Ball in Charlotte, if the WNBA had teams that could just do that, put Kennedy Carter on a team. At this point, After witnessing what she was able to do in such little time with the Aces on that type of roster, when she had those high moments, I don't think that whatever it is enough to have her out of the league. She's one of the most talented athletes on the planet. Somebody figure out, somebody get a mental health performance coach on the team. If it's mental health, if it's something in her personality, get somebody who can manage that. But she needs to be in the WNBA. She needs to be on a roster. I don't want to hear any of the excuses anymore. And I think that move to Phoenix, they need to make it happen before the trade deadline, because they need to do something, because Nate Tibbetts is one of the coaches who I feel is in a hot seat. I mean, you went all the way to the finals. You got swept. The season before, you had Diana Taurasi. You know, did they get swept in that against the Lynx? If I'm recalling correctly, I believe he got swept against the Lynx in that playoff series. So back-to-back sweeps, possibly. And after going all the way to the finals, you're on like a historic run of bad play. He's in a hot seat. And I think that honestly, everybody in Phoenix is in a hot seat, from the coaching staff to the players. Phoenix, I said yesterday during the game, they need to just take the organization and flip it over and just shake it. Like, shake everything out of that. But if they want to salvage the season, they have to do something big. And why not get Kennedy Carter? What do you have to lose at this point? I'm curious to know what you guys think. She ain't gonna listen to the people. Hey, at this point, I just feel like we see it happen. I mean, I hate to be, well, men do this because men aren't, the arbitrators of anything, that they're not always what we look to be the end all be all. But we watch difficult people be successful all the time, from Hollywood to sports. That's just what happens. I think that Kennedy Carter, I mean, if she's a difficult person, I can't confirm or deny, but I think that she's damn worth it at this point. I mean, I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm over, because we see so many different type of personalities that aren't favorable. So, I mean, why are we discriminating? but keeping on the topic of coaching. First, I want to talk about, did y'all see that Candace Parker said that Stephanie White is her coach of the year? Yeah, Candace Parker said that Stephanie White is her coach of the year because of what she's been able to do with the Indiana Fever through injury, and how she's able to play with the lineup and things like that. I think that if we were talking about last season, I think that Stephanie White was in the running. If I recall correctly, we were talking about Stephanie White for coach of the year last season for what she's been able to do. But this season, I'm not really seeing it. Actually, I believe Stephanie White is in the hot seat, and it's not because of her coaching. I think she's one of the better coaches in the league. Obviously, the Indiana Fever are still, I think, number 5 in the rankings. But I just want to be honest, and I don't trust the Indiana Fever organization. I believe that Indiana has chosen Caitlin Clark for their franchise. They're going to ride with Caitlin Clark, and they're going to ride with whatever is conducive to her looking good. Stephanie White has been able to accomplish a lot with the Indiana Fever as far as taking them to those semifinals last season without Caitlin Clark, on many hardship contracts, and, just do the impossible. I didn't think they were going to be that competitive after all of the injuries back to back that they endured last season, but she was able to make it work. I love the offense that she has going on between Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston. It's been some of the best offense those two have been in since they've been together on this Fever team. I mean, I think that the Fever are a stronger defensive team than they've been in years. Stephanie White is doing a good job, but is she going to be the coach that they keep for Caitlin? Because that's the only thing that I can think about. I mean, Caitlin pretty much told us in that presser earlier in the season, she is PG1. Obviously, that wasn't the truth, because it's changed multiple times this season, because at this point, Caitlin is the Joel Embiid of the WNBA with all of this load management. Even in the game, that we're looking at for today against the Las Vegas Aces, it was announced that she's not going to play more than 25 minutes in this game. So at this point, I consider Caitlin Clark the Joel Embiid. We don't know what game she's going to play in. We don't know how many minutes. It's a lot of load management going on, right? She's a player who hasn't gone through surgery, but she is receiving a lot of load management in the earlier set of her career, which is wild to me. You really don't hear about these type of things until, you're like DT level, Sue Bird level. They went through load management, but for Caitlin Clark, she's in year 3, and we never know when she's going to play. But I think that she's conversations with ownership groups. That's what I believe. They are locked in with Caitlin Clark. They are going to do what's best for her. I also think that they want to lock in Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston, but the top of what their interest is Caitlin Clark. So what coach is going to be the coach that gives her the career that they anticipated for her to have when she entered this league? Because we really haven't seen it yet. She's playing good basketball. I mean, she's still one of the best guards in the league right now, but it's not translating into anything substantial. She's that number 1 draft pick. I mean, I think that they're expecting her to lead them to a championship. And I don't know with what they have right now if that's going to happen. So I don't know. I don't trust the Indiana Fever. I think that they would use Stephanie White as a scapegoat. And if nothing substantial comes out of this season, I think that there's potential that they will let her go. And that's not anything to do with her coaching. I think she's one of the better coaches, but I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying. But I'm curious to read back and look at your thoughts to see what you think. But I definitely think Stephanie White is in the hot seat. And while we're talking about the Indiana Fever, I saw that people were upset that Sophie Cunningham got a PE from Adidas. I mean, Sophie Cunningham getting a PE from Adidas makes sense at this point in her career. She is taking full advantage of her proximity to the superstar that is Caitlin Clark. I mean, why should she not? I think honestly, Sophie might be taking advantage of this proximity better than any other athlete I've seen do it. I mean, the girl us meme material pointing at people. She's feeding her audience. So Adidas is a business, and people are dragging Candace Parker into this, and they're saying, well, Candace Parker is the president of women's sports or whatever in Adidas, and how's she giving Sophie Cunningham a PE and not Chelsea Gray a PE? I think that this might not have even been from the Fever. She's like, Lexi Hall. No, the one that points. Oh, Sophie. Yeah, let's give her a PE. They're buying into it. I mean, look at the All-Star voting. You got Sophie Cunningham and Maisha Hines Allen in top of fan voting for All-Star. Indiana has a base. We can't knock it. We just got to tell other teams to step up. I mean, I think that her PE shoe with Adidas is going to sell to her fan base. Chelsea Gray did have a PE that was available to the public. I believe it was in 2023, but that was before Candace Parker was the president. And I mean, if we really think about it, I mean, what has Candace Parker even done for herself as the president of Adidas? I would have expected Candace to be dropping her vintage jerseys or some shoes or something. I don't even see Candace doing anything for herself. I don't necessarily know if this was her idea, but I can definitely see why they would push for Sophie to get a PE because they have a base. I can't even knock it. I can't knock it. I just want everybody else because I talked about this in a shorter form video. Man, we got to do better with voting for All Star. Next season, I'm going to do better. I'm going to vote every single day, and I'm going to definitely take advantage of the days where our votes count double because I want to see more players get into the All Star. I mean, I think we're really dropping the ball as far as expanding the game when it comes to All Star Weekend. We could be doing a lot more. Maureen Johannes needs to be at All Star. A lot of the international talent needs to be at All Star just for the sake of viewership. I mean, we look at the Portland Fire, the majority of their team are international players. I want the WNBA to be on FIFA level, and we got to start thinking in that terms with every single thing as far as marketing, as far as All Star Weekend. I mean, do like the NBA and get that world team, international against the USA. Give us something, feed us, feed us. We want more, and we're getting a lot of the same. Even with the commercials, I know a lot of people are tired of seeing that State Farm commercial with Caitlin. A lot of people tired of seeing that Cheryl Swoop GOAT commercial. The WNBA has to give us more variety so we don't get fatigued from these, this repetition. So I can't knock the hustle from Sophie Cunningham. She better take advantage of this moment right here because she's been in the league for a while, right? I mean, she's doing well right now. She's getting some of her best numbers right now, so that could extend her career. But you never know. The girl is seizing the moment, and I cannot be mad. Another coach in the hot seat, obviously Tyler Marsh. And when I say Tyler Marsh, I really mean the whole kit and caboodle. I think Jeff and Tyler Marsh are in the hot seat because I think the ownership group has been in the hot seat for a while. All Star Weekend is really putting a magnifying glass on this whole organization, even more so. And it's like back to back. So they already had the microscope with Angel Reese coming in and being very vocal. Now Angel Reese is out and they're still going through drama with Skylar Diggins. And before I want to talk about Skylar Diggins for a minute because that whole situation came out. She went on Instagram and expressed her concerns about being in the starting lineup. Although we can say that Chicago has dropped the ball on a lot of things, I don't know if that was a good idea for Skylar to go on Instagram and complain about her not being in the starting lineup. I mean, your team has more losses than wins. They have to make changes. I know that the argument is that she was producing. She's one of the best producers on the Chicago Sky, but sometimes stats don't tell the full story. And maybe they were just looking for something else. And I know y'all going to be like, I know what they were looking for, Courtney Vandersloot, because Courtney Vandersloot, GM Sloot, far as the media, as far as the GM having that same reaction that they had with Angel Reese when she expressed many of the same things. Skylar, in an article with the Chicago Sun-Times, talked about how she had the anticipation that they were going to have this practice facility. And I understand her gripes. Like she said, and we knew. Angel told us that they didn't have the resources. So I think that going into this, she had to know that she was going to be lacking resources. So I was just a bit caught off guard with that because it's kind of one of those things like we know what's going on. You had to know what was going on. I know somebody could tell you one thing and you want to take somebody's word, but I mean, if you just ride around to the practice facility yourself, it don't look like it's about to be open. At least from the pictures that I've seen, it don't look like it's about to be open. So I was a little disappointed with Skylar with that, but it looks to we're going to see another look of Chicago today. I'm curious to see. Right now they're 1-1 with the new dealing with a knee injury, and she was sacrificing her body. So I'm glad that she is prioritizing herself now and getting that rest. I'm interested to see what Chicago continues to do as they continue to play with the lineup. But Tyler Marsh and Jeff are really like symptoms. They're not even the issues necessarily. The issues is probably in the ownership group, but somebody has to take the fall. But I know that there's criticism about Tyler and how he mismanages timeouts, how he mismanages challenges, the lineup. I've seen Chicago's offensive schemes change. I feel like they're trying to figure out what works for this group. At the beginning of the season, what we were seeing in preseason games and the early on games, I didn't think that they were prioritizing Camila Cardoso. Now I think that that's changed and they're looking to her more, and she's been very successful as they continue to look to her. So I do think that they're trying. He's trying. I don't know how much of a motivator he is, because that's a part of the thing too. Like, as far as the X's and O's, you got to have those to be a coach, but you also have people around you, the staff. He has a really strong staff, and he has head coaches on his bench that could really step up and coach his team at any moment. So I don't necessarily think it's all X's and O's with Chicago. It's team morale. Skylar talked about having a loser mentality. Angel talked about having a loser mentality. You have to have a coach that motivates as well. The head coach, somebody in that locker room has to be able to rally the troops. And I think the morale is in the bucket in Chicago, and it's in the bucket in Phoenix. I think both of these teams are suffering from similar things when it comes to staying connected on the court. It's not always about X's and O's. It's about being happy. Now, Carl Smesko is another name that pops up in this conversation. I'm going to be honest. I don't think that Carl Smesko is in the hot seat. I think that people are upset with the losing streak that Atlanta has been on. They're upset with the 3-point attempts and them just not looking to get inside as much as they should be. And a lot of the attention has been on Ron Howard, because half of the shots that she's taking, and sometimes the majority of the shots she's taking in games, are 3-point attempts. And we know, we've witnessed her be able to get to the rim at will. We listened to Lisa Leslie talk about it in their last matchup at the half. I mean, everybody's saying the same thing about Ron Howard: get to the rim. And people are blaming Carl Smesko's system for that. And I know, but players have freedom. They have the liberty to do and make decisions in game. We can't blame the 3-point attempts from Atlanta all on Carl Smesko, especially in terms of Ron Howard, because she's only shooting one more 3-point attempt in this time with Carl Smesko than she was when she was Tanisha had a high 3-point rate in that offense, and that was completely different. I just think that that's who Ron Howard is at this point. What I do question about Carl is how stern he is. You know, how much does he put his foot down? I think that Atlanta's dog is Angel Reese, and she's coming into the system. Angel and Nas. I think that both of them are just leaders, and they have this toughness and this fierceness about them, and they want to win. So they're instrumental when it comes to keeping Atlanta connected. But I don't think that it's necessarily Carl and his system as to what right now. I don't know if I blame all of that on Carl. If anything, Atlanta shakes up their roster at the end of the season before they get rid of Carl. It looked like, from interviews with the GM, that they believe in Go's system. They've had years to try to figure this thing out between Alicia Gray and Ron Howard. Do that if things don't turn around this season, because we could also be seeing what we saw with the Aces. You know, the Aces started out first half of the season, they were 500. You know, they went on losing streaks, and then they turned around and won a championship. We could be seeing a team that is about to make a turnaround. But if that team doesn't make a turnaround, I think that we would be looking at a roster shakeup in Atlanta before we're looking at a coaching change in Atlanta. But that's just what I believe. I think that Atlanta just has to find balance. I talk about balance a lot, but I mean, that is the word for Atlanta. They just have to be better decision makers, know when they need to look inside, know when they need to take that 3-point shot, know when a 3-point shot is not working, know when to switch up and make adjustments. He does have to play his bench more. I love what I'm seeing from Medina Akot, but I would have wanted to see. I know that her minutes, she had minutes in the earlier parts of the season. I would have liked to see them be more intentional about her minutes in the first part of the season, so she could have been even stronger by now. And what I mean by that is when Medina gets into the game, run a play for her immediately. I think that she's the type of player where she has to see one go down. She has to feel a part of the offense. And I think a lot of players are like that, but especially so for her, because once they just figure out the lob, just lob it up and get it to her. I think they have to run plays for her immediately. I think if they have had been more intentional to start the season with her minutes, we would have been able to see an even stronger Medina at this point. I'm very excited for Angel Reese to come back into the lineup. She looked like she was ready to get out there on the court in her boot uh, the other day against Portland, but I don't think that Carl Smith is in the hot seat. But I'm curious to know what you all think about that. Now, the last one of the other things that I want to talk about, I'm going to move on from Atlanta actually. I want to talk about Cheryl Miller's All-Star starting five. I don't know if y'all saw that, but and this is not an official team. I think when I made the post on Facebook, people thought that Cheryl Miller was actually choosing an All-Star team. They were just having a conversation from what I understand, and she was choosing her All-Star starters out of the bunch of players. Cheryl Miller's All-Star team: Olivia Miles, Paige Beckers, Kelsey Mitchell, Brianna Stewart, and Asia Wilson. Can you imagine? Can you imagine this starting five for an All-Star game? I would love to see Olivia Miles and Paige Beckers because that's kind of the what could have been if Dallas had made the move to get Olivia Miles. Man, I really want to see them play together just to see what type of playmaking ability we could get. But honestly, I love where Olivia Miles is right now, and I hope she never changes. I see a lot of criticism for her and her attitude, her fierceness, and how she interacts on the court. People are saying she's this, she's that. Hey, Olivia, never change. You are the show. I love it. I love the confidence. It's hoops. I mean, every hoops player has their identity, their personality on the court. This is Olivia Miles. People are gonna like it. They're gonna love it. They're gonna hate it. Whatever. Olivia never change. And I think she has some good vets around her, from Natasha Howard, Courtney Williams to K Mac. Everybody's feeding life into her. Everybody giving her the green light, from Cheryl Reeve and onward. So love Olivia Miles, love what she's doing. Would love to see an all-star starting five that has her and Paige Beckers. Now, what's interesting is that Cheryl Miller prefaced this and was like, CC, I love you. Kayla Clark, I love you, but I have to go Kelsey Mitchell. And we've seen Cheryl Miller ride for Caitlin Clark. So that was interesting to see her pick Kelsey Mitchell. But I mean, Kelsey Mitchell has been having a season. I think she's still showing us that she's that player, that number one option, or at least should be. I think she is the number one option. I think that they've said as much about Kelsey Mitchell on the Indiana Fever. But what if we got Stewie and Asia on the same team? Stewie and Asia on the same team. We only get that like once every 4 years for the Olympics. So if we were able to see that in the All-Star game, I think that would be tough. I mean, I would love to see it. I want to see one of them dunk it for the one time. I mean, even if it's just on a fast break, we're probably never going to get it, even though we know that Asia Wilson can dunk. But would love to see it. What are y'all thoughts on Cheryl Miller's starting five? I thought that was super dope that they were able to do that. I want to see what Teaspoon's starting five look like. I don't know if I missed it or she hasn't done hers yet, but I want to see who Teaspoon is choosing for her starting five. Now, I'm going to take a moment to just check the chat, see what y'all talking about, because I've been missing a lot because I've just been yapping. Man. Okay, okay, okay. We know the real GM is Sloot. That's hilarious. So, what games are y'all looking for today? I know we got the Aces on a back to back against Indiana. I don't know if I love back to backs. I think that, I mean, it shows what a team can do in a quick turnaround, but it's just not fair. I don't love back to backs, but it's later on in the evening. It's a 9 p.m. Eastern time game. I mean, I give the edge to the Aces, of course. Just they had a lighter game against Phoenix, so I mean that's a bright spot. I don't think. I mean, they got a lot of chance to rest. I'm very interested to see if Passat makes another showing in this game. I didn't see if Tanaya Latson was made available yet, but we also know that Tanaya Latson signed that developmental contract, so she'll be able to appear in at least 12 games. And there's still 7 developmental spots left in the league. I really love that these teams are making use of these roster spots. And we've already seen some success with having those roster spots available. We've seen some players go from developmental contracts to signed on. We saw it with Kate Martin. I mean, as long as the league continues to grow, the games continue to go up, they're going to need more roster spots. 12 is very limiting, so teams have to be strategic with that, but it's a start. But I really hope that they increase the roster spots very soon. I don't know how much longer they can hold out for that. So on top of Fever and Aces, we'll have the New York Liberty and the Toronto Tempo, which is always cool. We got Sandy Brondello facing her old players, her old franchise. We'll have Seattle versus the Washington Mystics. So the young and turnt crews, and they're both coming on at the same time. Hate that. So who will I choose? I'm probably going to choose Seattle Storm and the Washington Mystics to watch live because I really like both of those teams. I like seeing the youth. I love that Flage is turning up, and it looks like she's going to have a strong second half of the season. She could be entering into that rookie of the year race, but at this point, Olivia Miles is kind of run away. She's kind of run away with it. But we'll also see Chicago versus the Dallas Wings, which is going to be interesting. Once again, I'm excited to see how Chicago continues to play with the lineup and try to find some continuity moving forward. Now, I usually have these streams go for an hour, but I want to make sure everybody gets ready for the game. So I'm just going to look over the chat one more time before we round out today's conversation. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Do we have any questions? What do you think about a rookie sophomore all-star game and a third year and up all-star that we can see more WNBA stars? Steve, definitely agree with that. If you saw my post that chose players for the skills challenge, my skills challenge was full of rookies and second year players. I love seeing the younger players get a shot. At this point, we've seen some of the veteran players in this all-star setting before. So getting to see the young players get their shine, get some recognition, them just be excited about things because we know sometimes fatigue set in. I mean, veteran players, are they getting up the same as a younger player for the all-star game? We know a lot of them want to preserve their bodies. And I think making it in that style of format, like, rookies against sophomore, second year players, it just keeps the competitiveness because we know that this is also a break period for a lot of the players. So, I mean, keep it competitive, keep it entertaining, switch it up. So I do love that idea, that concept. Talking about back to back, I feel sad for Phoenix facing the Link tomorrow. Hey, I mean, I also feel bad for Phoenix facing the Lynx because we all know what the Lynx can do, and they're not going to have any mercy. I've already said, like, I felt bad. Like at one point, I was like, yes, we're spanking Phoenix. I love spanking Phoenix, but then just to see their morale so in the toilet right now, and watching them get spanked is just, it's hard to watch. I hope something really turns around for them. You know, it's just unfortunate when you can kind of feel a mental toll on a team. And that's what I think that we're seeing in Phoenix. And you see Nate Tibbetts on the side trying to like clap it up. Some people call him girl dad. And I see it. It's like he's trying to be supportive, but he looks kind of lost. Maybe Christy Tolliver can get some more shine in that head coach role. Maybe they need a change up all the way around. Some group activities. I don't know what they need, but Phoenix needs something. They need an intervention. Love your lives and listen when I miss. And listen, when I miss, I sorry I miss you in Vegas. I've been a 30-year season ticket holder, first in LA with the Sparks, and Leslie, and now a season ticket holder in Vegas. Shout out to you. I'm sorry that I missed you in Vegas, but I will definitely be back in Vegas. Still going through a couple more of the comments. If you have a question, be sure to ask it now because I'm about to round out this conversation. All right, folks. Have you named who's in the 3 point? Have they named who's in the 3 point and skills comp yet? No. Usually they announce that like the day or so, maybe a couple days right before the event. So we won't know. And it's also important to note that the players who are in those competitions aren't necessarily in the All-Star game. So we could be getting some new names. And those players also don't have to have a certain amount of votes. So we could be getting somebody completely new. I would love to see Maureen Johannes. I mean, I think that we need that. We need Maureen Johannes in that 3 point competition. I want to see what she does. Mercury needs Kenny Carter. That's the only available solution. Yup, I definitely talked about that earlier on in the stream. Well, folks, I appreciate everybody for tuning into the live stream. I know it's been a minute since I talked to y'all, so I appreciate everybody that showed up. Yeah, we talked about a few things. I hope to be back next Sunday, same time, 2 p.m. Eastern time. I'll give y'all more information about what's happening at All Star. Continue to check my social media pages from Instagram to Facebook. I'm on there as Cassie Chantel. Check me out on Threads to see me talk about a lot of different things, from non-basketball things to basketball things to my little fish. And of course, subscribe to me on YouTube, Women's Basketball 365, Host Tribe. As always, I'm curious, what are your thoughts about coaches? Do you think that any of these coaches are coaching for their positions right now? What are you excited about in terms of All-Star? Let's talk hoops.